Hello and welcome to a new video here on my channel here at commaik. In today's video, I want to talk about the topic of safety. Specifically, it's about fire protection. I have a relatively large house with 4 floors, which is occupied by 3 parties. Up until now, I've had the problem that I couldn't network my smoke detectors throughout the entire house. How do you do that? How can you make sure the fire alarm can be heard throughout the whole house? The solution, I've got it right here in my hand. XSense Link Plus. Networked smoke detectors that communicate with each other via base station, and it even works without Wi-Fi. Whether this really works and whether it's the right solution for me and for you too, I'll show you in this video. Enjoy! Our house, which you can see behind me, is used by a total of 3 households and spans 4 floors. The basement, which is at ground level on this side, even has a sub-basement on the other side of the house, a basement beneath the basement. And it's exactly in this sub-basement that I installed a diesel heater in the winter. And this diesel heater is located in the basement and supplies my workshop with heat. Today, I'm going to take you with me on a little tour of the basement. I've already installed some smoke detectors here, for example, up there on the ceiling in front of the electrical cabinet. I've also installed smoke detectors near the heating systems of each apartment. This is where my workshop is located. The construction of my workshop has been documented in various videos. You can find the details below the video or just click up in the top right corner. Down there is my diesel parking heater, a Chinese heater that provides pleasant warmth in the winter. The question I often get from you is, what do you do about smoke? What do you do about CO if the exhaust is leaking? What do you do to make sure the place doesn't burn down? Because the exhaust gases are routed behind the walls and vented outside. So I have to ensure proper safety. Our house was built around 1900. It's an old Gründerzeit villa. We live in this Art Nouveau villa, which we have been renovating and restoring with a lot of love and effort for many years. The walls of this building are extremely thick. The walls behind me, here in the basement area, are sometimes 60 to 80 centimeters thick. In the sub-basement, they're even thicker, of course. The problem is that the smoke detectors I've installed down here can only be heard down here in the basement. You can still hear the smoke detectors on the ground floor, but on the upper floor and in the attic, you can't hear anything anymore. So what happens if a fire breaks out in the house? There are plenty of reasons. The exhaust of the diesel heater is leaking. The PV storage has a problem. Over voltage damage or cable fire in the control cabinet. What happens if there's damage to the e-bike battery? Well, we wouldn't notice itally when it gets too hot. And that's the problem. You can't hear the smoke detectors in our apartment anymore because the building is simply too big and the walls are too thick. The solution is supposed to be networked and smart smoke detectors. These are smoke detectors that are interconnected and form a cascade. If one smoke detector is triggered, all the others are activated as well. XSense has been offering such a system for several years now and keeps improving it. I've been provided with the Link Plus version and allowed to test it at my place. Of course, I'm happy to do that because I have the ideal conditions to carry out a hardcore test here. And I hope I can share a thing or two with you. Life has become expensive. Nevertheless, I want to give you this urgent advice. Don't try to save money in the wrong place. Fire protection is something you should absolutely pay attention to, especially since there is a smoke detector requirement throughout Germany. Always remember the old saying, if you have a smoke detector in your house, no fire will break out at your place. Smoke detectors are pretty useless if you're not at home. That's why it's important that I have interconnected smoke detectors that are smart and can be linked together in a group. And if one of these smoke detectors goes off, all the others will be triggered as well. XSense offers a system that I want to introduce to you in this video. I received the system free of charge to test and try out. You'll find the relevant links below the video, which were provided to me by XSense. Feel free to check them out or click the top right corner for more information. Now, I'll unbox the XSense package. I'll install several smoke detectors, link them, and also install a CO detector and integrate it into the system. Afterwards, I'll show you how everything works in the app and how you can control it there. And finally, I'll do a test. Because what good is the best smoke detector if it doesn't go off? You'll see all of that in this video, so let's get started with the unboxing. The XSense Link Plus system is a complete package. In this set, you get a base station through which everything can be centrally controlled with an app on your phone. And in addition, of course, you also get the smoke detectors according to the size of your set. The whole thing is available with 6 smoke detectors. There's a package that comes with 12 smoke detectors right away, but there's also a 3-pack. Just take a look to see which size you need. And take a closer look, because curiously enough, the version with the base station, whether you use it or not, is usually cheaper than the option where you buy the smoke detectors individually. Of course, you can also use the whole system without a smartphone. If you prefer, you can link the smoke detectors directly to each other. However, you'll miss out on a few smart features. And of course, you can't be notified while you're away that there's a fire at home. You only hear the fire alarm if you're on site through the corresponding alarm sounds. The set consists, as already described, of this small base station, which is powered via a USB-C port. The cable and the adapter are included in the set. Let me show you here. Everything is nicely packaged. The base station was inside here. The cable is included as well. The power plug is also included. And in this complete set, there are 6 essential smoke detectors included, along with all the necessary components, screws and wall plugs for secure installation. Installing the system is relatively simple. First, you need to connect the base station to power, then integrate it into your Wi-Fi. After that, you can connect the smoke detectors individually to this base station. You can assign the smoke detectors to individual rooms. You can create groups, you can run a test, you can invite friends. You don't have to limit this app feature to just one phone. Instead, you can use it with the whole family. The setup is very well described in the manual, which is also available in German. I just have to say that, unfortunately, nowadays, paper manuals are often omitted. No, you actually get a printed manual with it, which is truly self-explanatory. What I also want to recommend to you are alternative mounting options. You can easily mount the smoke detectors on the ceiling using the included screws, or mount them on the walls, or you can use these magnetic adapter plates. You can also stick those to the ceiling, or screw them to the ceiling through the screw hole. The other half is stuck onto the smoke detector. And then you can simply attach the smoke detector magnetically to the ceiling. The advantage of such a system is that you can remove the smoke detectors at any time. For example, to run a test or to clean them, because these devices hang on the ceiling for quite a while. In general, a device warranty of 10 years is provided. The included batteries are replaceable, as you can see here. The batteries are supposed to last up to 5 years. In the app, you can see a status display showing how much battery capacity is left. You will be reminded when the batteries are running low. In that case, you can simply replace these batteries. And 10 years is indeed a very long time to be working with these devices. On paper, of course, all of this sounds very convincing, but I want to know for sure. I want to test it. I want to know whether the smoke detectors also communicate with each other. For example, if my Wi-Fi goes out due to a power outage, do the alarm signals still work then? Does the Cascade still function in that case? How can I add more devices? Can I really invite third parties to use the app as well? I'm going to try all of this out now. First, of course, I need to install the base station. That's what I'm going to do now. I'll show you how I set up the base station and smoke detector on my phone. Afterwards, I'll install the smoke detector on the base station. That way I can test all the functions. And I will also register the CO detector with the base station. I'll set it up there. What's special about this device compared to this regular smoke detector is that this device not only detects smoke, issues warnings, and triggers alarms, but also measures the carbon monoxide concentration in the air and triggers an alarm. That's especially important for me since my heater is located right below me in this basement. My diesel heater, and if there are any leaks in the exhaust area, the CO detector will go off immediately. The alarm is not only audible down here, but thanks to the base station, also further upstairs. Where I sleep, before I can set up the base station, I of course first have to download and install the app. You'll find the links to the App Store and Google Play Store below the video in the description. To add a new device in the app, I have to click the plus sign at the top right. For the base station, I now need the QR code, which I can find on the underside of the device. I take a photo of it and establish a connection to the phone via Bluetooth. Now I just need to select the correct Wi-Fi and enter the corresponding Wi-Fi password in the app. I can now continue right away and link another device to the base station. For this, I have a selection of various compatible devices offered by Xsense. Of course, I choose the smoke detector. For each device I add in the app, I can assign an individual name and of course also select an individual location. Now I need to prepare the smoke detector for pairing with the base station by removing the protective film from the battery and pressing the button on the side twice in quick succession. I will now simply attach the third smoke detector to the ceiling using my magnetic plate up here. And now I can test whether all smoke detectors go off at the same time by testing the system. It took a while, but as you can see, the alarm is going off. I received an alarm notification on my phone. It appears there's a distinct and persistent beeping sound emanating from a specific location over there, creating an audible signal. Furthermore, this same noticeable beeping noise is also clearly present and quite audible right here, indicating its presence in multiple areas simultaneously. Wow, that's truly amazing. This test was really something. My ears are almost falling off now. It's really loud, and the great thing is, it works. All of the devices are connected to each other seamlessly, even though the distance down here wasn't that great, but the triggered smoke detector set off the alarm. The smoke detector on the other side of the building set off the alarm. The smoke detector located here in the workshop set off the alarm. And the base station also triggered an alarm, and not just the same alarm sound, but also a voice announcement to warn the residents. Let's take a look in the app to see which notifications have come in. On the app, you can clearly see that smoke detector number 2, which I just triggered, is set to mute. This means that the smoke detector will remain inactive for 9 minutes, and then it will automatically reactivate itself. If there's still smoke present at that time, the alarm will sound again. And of course, all the other smoke detectors will also be activated. However, if there's no more smoke after 9 minutes, then the smoke detector returns to standby mode. Before I get to the conclusion, let's take a quick look at the app and the functions that are available to me here. In the app, I can see all the devices that I have paired with the base station. A maximum of 50 devices can be connected to each base station. The base station itself offers its own functions. I can later change the name and location and enable or disable a voice announcement. I can also adjust the voice volume, which is quite convenient. Through the base station, I can also centrally deactivate the alarm. If a smoke detector triggers an alarm, I would normally have to reset the alarm directly on the smoke detector or via the app on my phone. If neither of these is possible quickly, I can temporarily mute the device with a single press of the button on the base station. I also have the option to manage the Wi-Fi settings of the network. I have an overview of the current device settings, including feature to enable updates that the device can perform automatically. And I can share the devices with other users by inviting them via email. This way, all family members have access to the system. Of course, I can also access the individual detectors directly in the app. Secondly, in the overview, you can see my combined detector, which measures both smoke development and CO levels and even displays them in the app. I can also thoroughly test this specific device to ensure its proper functionality. Additionally, I have the capability to easily set a personalized and custom alarm tone specifically for the base station. In the notifications, I can also specify what should be reported to me in the app. And as you can see, the overview is extensive. For every emergency, for every eventuality, I have the option to have these displayed to me individually or not, as I choose. I can also select the smoke detectors individually in this way and view detailed device information or even thoroughly test them. So as you can clearly see, all of the important functions are readily available, included in the app, and can be accessed quickly and clearly. I have placed several of these smoke detectors throughout the building, from the ground floor up to the attic. I checked whether the devices communicate with each other and whether in the attic I would notice if gases from my diesel heater were leaking in the basement. What can I say? During my test, which I conducted on the upper floor, all the smoke detectors down here also went off. The base station also indicated that an alarm had been triggered. The whole thing was extremely loud, and I had to calm my neighbors down first, letting them know that everything was fine here. Long story short, it works. That's the most important thing. Now, I'm sure some of you are thinking, that's all well and good, but what about the whole cloud thing? When I use the app on my phone, I have to create a customer account and the alarms are triggered via the cloud. That means if you're not online, it simply won't work. The device has to be connected to the internet. What if I don't want that or can't do it? Well, there is a solution for how you can still use the system and without the base station. The only downside is that you won't receive push notifications on your phone, and of course you won't be able to see the status of your system in the app. But you can still connect the devices to each other and set up a cascading network. When one smoke detector is triggered, all the other smoke detectors are also activated. And I'll show you now how that works. It's actually incredibly simple. You just need to add each device to a group one after the other. And once this group is set up, the devices will work together. To set up such a group, you basically have a master device. It doesn't matter at all which one you use for this. And you have a second device, which is supposed to form a group with the master device. On the master device, simply press the button 4 times quickly in succession, and then press the button twice on the new device. I'll just go ahead and do that now. 1m-2 to 3m-4, 1m-2. That's all there is to it. You see, I've now paired these two devices together. And now I set the master aside and grab the next device, which I also want to add to this group. So here, too, I press the button 4 times, then twice on the button of the new device. 1m-2 to 3m-4, 1m-2, done. Now these 3 devices are networked together. They communicate with each other via the RF network. They transmit among themselves. And here too, I can easily trigger the alarm on one particular device, and consequently, all the other connected devices will also be simultaneously triggered. Let's move on to the conclusion of the Xsense Link Plus monitoring system. The system works flawlessly, it works perfectly, and it works throughout the entire house. I was able to integrate the base station into my Wi-Fi in no time at all. The blue X on the base station glows subtly in the background. The base station is placed somewhere in the office. Somewhere it's out of sight, but where you can still hear it. In addition, I was able to pair the individual smoke detectors with the base station without any problems. With the app, it's no problem at all. Just click through it. It takes maybe a minute per smoke detector. It really is incredibly fast. All the tests were successful as well. I'm genuinely convinced by this system and can only highly recommend it to you. For all those who say, I don't need or want a base station, I don't have Wi-Fi, or I don't want to use the cloud. Yes, you can use the smoke detectors without the cloud and without the base station. You can set up groups of detectors and create cascades. That way, you can hear the basement alarm even on the other side of the house in the attic. If you want to know more about the Xsense Link Plus Pro, about the compatible devices, about the strengths and weaknesses, then take a look under the video in the description. There you'll find more information so you can read everything through at your leisure. Under the video you'll also find product links to the sets and the accessories that I used here and that I can recommend with a clear conscience. If you shop using my links, I want to say a huge thank you to you, because that supports my channel without costing you anything. And with that, I'm done. I'm already looking forward to the next video with you. Give me a like and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video. Until then, take care. Bye.